Yeah.
Hmm.
I didn't know it was opening up like this, guys.
Let's go now. Let's go now.
Break it down, G-Ray.
Let's go now. GG-rated podcast coming at you first thing. We're going to talk about some movies and then some games. We're going to show you the best deals of the month. And don't remember what rhymes with month. Let's go.
Yeah. Here we go, guys. Episode 47 coming your way. Let's go.
Hello, welcome to GGrated. We hope you enjoy the show. Now here are the hosts.
Guys, most epic beginning we've had ever since. I like that. I like that, G-Ray. Guys,
I am not what you would say a freestyle rapper, but I try.
That was something special just for y'all. Guys, welcome to episode 47. I'm Gino. This is my co-host, Gray. We're here for another great episode. We got some gaming deals. We got some tech to go over. We got a lot of things. But we mostly go over the gaming, tech, and deals and movies at times, as well as we're going to be introducing a new anime section come next week. So y'all stay tuned for that. But, Gray, what we got coming up, man, right now?
Right now, we're going to talk about our gaming moment of the week, along with some gaming news and deals, and then our main topic. So let's get into it. Gaming moment of the week. This gaming moment is a gaming moment. How many times can I say gaming moment? This is the section of the podcast. We're both tired. It's late on a Sunday night.
We was like, we got to get this done.
Yeah, we got to get it done. So this moment is a moment throughout our week that stood out to us as a particularly fun moment. Fun, interesting, cool, whatever you want to say, moment of the week for a specific game that stuck out to us that we would like to tell you about in story form. So
go with it, Josh.
Hey, if you want your gaming moment of the week to be read on the show, then reach out to us at GGrated. The name of the email is GGratedChannel@gmail.com. And you can reach out to us on there, Facebook, all that stuff. So, anyways, my gaming moment of the week, dude, is playing golf with friends. So it's a pretty simple game. Me and you played some, and I actually got to play some with Clayville last night too. And dude, when we were on there,
it's a great game, by the way, guys.
It was cracking me up, and I will say that you won a lot of the matches, but we were sitting there like just cracking jokes at each other because you can get stuck on like the stupidest part. Because we like to play, and if you don't know what golf with friends is, it's on Steam. It might be on like other things too, but it's basically just extreme putt golf, and there's all kind of different crazy levels and maps and different kind of stuff that you have to go through. And you can get stuck on this one part and just get so far behind, and it can be so frustrating. But for the other person watching, because you get to watch, it can be so funny. It cracks me up.
And I just want to elaborate on that a little bit. Like, I remember you picked one mode that we played in at one point, and what's really makes it interesting is where you can actually hit the other person's balls, hit the other person's ball, and it just goes.
You can hit the other person's balls.
You know,
it gets hardcore.
Hit the golf ball. It gets hardcore. Like, you start strategizing, trying to hit the ball to knock them off the map and stuff like that. Yeah. So it's something so simple, man. But man, we had a blast the other night playing. And you said you played it with Clayville too.
Like, I actually got him to buy the game, and because he was on last night, and I was like, dude, you know what a good game is? It's golf with friends. You need to get that. It's really fun. And I found out too, dude, so when your golf ball goes in the water, you can actually click and you can jump.
Yeah.
So you can jump out of the water, back on the land if
he goes back onto the land?
Okay. Yeah, it definitely can if you do a like high enough jump.
So when were you going to tell me that?
I just found out about it because I was able to do it on this last time I played, and I was like, Oh, that would have came in handy the million times I went in the drink when I was playing with Gino.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, my game moment of the week was probably the space level, dude. The
That
space
was
level was pretty wild, and
insane, dude.
it
That was
was
insane.
insane. So that was my game moment of the week.
Awesome, man. I like that. I would say that was one of my gaming moments of the week as well. But I will say that I had another one, a couple of them. The first one's going to be Apex. I jumped in back into Apex, and something that kind of surprised me and all when I was just playing a few rounds with myself because my PC was like I didn't think it was actually overheating because I clean it pretty good, pretty regularly, But I
That's what
keep
she
having
said.
this issues. I keep having the issues with my PC. So it was just kind of odd to me that it kept shutting off on me. So it finally got me to, I guess, clean it up, and I was able to load Apex and play it. That was my test game I played. So I played like 3 rounds. Man, I ended up doing like this ult on this Apex, and it gave me 2 Mozambiques at once, like a Kimbo style on there. And yeah, it was pretty cool. And I was like, and I haven't played it in a while, so I didn't know it had that kind of stuff. So I kept playing it. I ended up knocking out like 2 people, knocking 2 people with the Mozambiques, man. And if you know the Mozambique, if you play Apex, guys, Mozambique is like one of the most worst. It's the worst guns that you can get. Yeah, one of except for the P20. You remember that. That's all you end up with half the time. It's the P2020, right? But that was my first gaming moment. I thought that was a super cool moment. I was like running around with the Kimbos. We haven't done that since Modern Warfare 2 or something, or 3. And my second one, I got bored one night and I was like, man, I just want to do something a little different. I know we play golf with friends, so I wanted something simple. So I went on Launchbox, which is, if you don't know it, guys, it's a retro website where you can play ROMs and you have emulators on it, and it keeps it all in one place. Well, I was looking at it and I was playing the Super Nintendo on there, and with my Xbox controller, and we was playing. What's the name of the game? You know the name because you watched the movie. What's the name of it again? Kevel or Kevel?
Fievel goes west.
Fievel goes
Yeah.
west. That's right. So I played that game. It was. I didn't like it too much, but it was so simple, man. You just running through. It's a platform, just left to right scroll, and you're just shooting this stuff, and then like you can get power ups that actually change your fire shooting into water shooting. So platforms will be on fire, so you have to shoot the platforms to cool them off, and then you jump on the platform, and you have like these mice or mouse or rats or something like that chasing you and stuff like that. So and you have to try to time your jumps and everything. I played for about 10 minutes and I got bored with it, but that was still kind of my chilling gaming moment, just trying something new I never tried before. It kind of brought back a little bit of nostalgia. That was my gaming moment of the week.
Nice. I love it. That was a great gaming moment of the week.
So, guys, like I said, like Josh said, I won't hit on it again too much. But if you have a gaming moment of the week, make sure you drop a comment down below or write us on our Gmail one last time, GGratedChannel@gmail.com. Do you want to go into the gaming news and deals?
Let's go. Just roll right into the gaming deals. So,
What you got, man?
So one game I wanted to point out that was on sale. I'm not 100% that it's still on sale. It's called Neon White. Neon White is like an action platformer. Gives you Mirror's Edge vibes, but you're basically a soul in heaven trying to eliminate demons. And there's a cool little story. It's real like anime. It's got some voice actors in it that you would know from anime.
Okay.
It's a really neat story, and I'm going to talk more about it after I
You've been trying to
finish
get me
it.
to buy this game for the longest
Dude,
time.
it's great. It's a really fun game. I finally bought it. You can download it on your Steam Deck. It plays perfect on there.
You can
It's
see the
really
gameplay
fun.
playing right now.
Yeah, it's really fun, dude. And that's one that I highly suggest picking up. I love it. I really zone into these games, and it is taking up a lot of my break time at work.
So it looks like it's going to be a shooter a shooter game, but it's very quick, kind of like more like your style, kind of like the Mirror's Edge, kind of very fast paced.
Yep.
I think it
And
usually goes what's shown on GG deals right now for $17.47. Josh said that he did get it a little bit cheaper, so keep an eye on this game if you want to do it. Josh is probably going to do a review on this game
yep,
for
I
everybody
plan
a little bit
on
later.
100%ing this game. I'm
Yeah.
gonna get all the stuff. I'm gonna get all the different levels because there's time limits for each level, and that's how you get rewards as far as bronze, silver,
Okay.
gold, or ace. So
Okay.
ace is the quickest time you can get on each level. And so far I've aced every level. It's taken many attempts on some of them to get that ace level. And there's also a gift that you can find on the level to give to different characters in this world to unlock levels and dialogue. So it's this really cool story that they have in the middle of all these levels. That's really fun.
Which is
And
nice. Yeah.
I'm going to break it down on an episode of GG Rated. So look for that in the future. But just know
Awesome.
that this is a great game to catch on sale as my deals, and it's one that I've invested a lot of time in. So I'm pointing that one out, and I'm also pointing out what was the other game I forgot?
Just Cause 3,
Just
I think.
Cause
I
4, I
believe.
think.
Yes,
Wasn't
4.
it
That's
4?
right. That's
Just
right.
Cause 4 Reloaded Edition, maybe. It was
Yep,
on
it
sale for
is.
cheap. And a matter of fact, all the Just Cause games are for super cheap. So you can pick those up for like next to nothing. Like I'm talking about just a few dollars. Just Cause 4 Reloaded Edition is how much? Is it like $4?
It's $3.47 right now.
$3.47, dude. It is a historic low,
Which you can't
94% off.
beat
No,
that
these are
347.
fun games. They're so cool, man. They're a lot of fun. It's basically kind of like an open world, kind of like Grand Theft Auto. You can steal cars and all that stuff, motorcycles, but you also have a parachute and a zip line, and you can use that stuff to interact with the map. You can fly airplanes, helicopters, hijack stuff. There's gunplay, and there's other things in this reloaded
It
Just Cause
is
4.
actually on Steam right now as well for $3.47,
Yeah,
94% off on Steam. So if
94%
you
off.
don't want to go to GG Deals that Josh found this deal at, you can actually go straight to Steam and do that. Now, if you do want to buy this, if you have an Xbox or a PlayStation, it's available on Xbox One. It is $40 right now. I would not do that.
No. Get you a
PS4,
PC or get
yeah,
you a freaking Steam Deck, dude.
yeah.
Like I play Just Cause 3 on Steam Deck and it plays great. So
Yeah. And then, but if you if you are with the consoles, there's a lot of people that still. I think there's actually more people with PS4 consoles than they are with PS5 right now. But it's only $5.99 and it is backward compatible with the PS5, so you could be able to
oh,
play
that's
that.
perfect.
So
Yeah.
definitely try that. $5.99 for PlayStation, $3.47 like Josh pointed out. Can't beat that game.
Can't
You
beat
got
it.
some good picks this week, man. I do like that.
Yeah, man. Those are my top picks for the gaming deals.
Man, let's go into. I've been dying to get into it. Let's go into this last section, man. And
Let's do it.
I got to tell you what's happening with old Valve right now, man.
Hit me with it, big dog. So what's the big gaming news, dude? You were kind of showing me a little bit of this earlier. This is kind of crazy.
So it's having to do with Valve. The news coming out, and this might still, it's confirmed, okay, that they are going to be offering their Steam OS on the Rog Ally. If everybody knows what the Rog Ally is, it's actually a handheld system, okay, that this handheld system is direct competitor with the Steam Deck. So it's kind of funny that they're doing this, and I think it might be because what they're ultimately doing is you got to look to the future, and if they can put Steam OS on all these handhelds, right? Because by far Steam OS, they have it down, right? Like they got it going on. They know how it works. Now I know the compatibility can be a little bit wonky, a little bit, but as far as like usability, it's the next best thing next to like the Switch. And the Switch is so watered down, it doesn't even compare, right? So what I'm getting at is Valve if they put Steam OS on there, the future looks like, since Microsoft is lagging so much behind and getting a handheld OS system, operating system. When I say OS, guys, that it's not going to go well for Microsoft, because they're going to take that market. Because can you imagine every handheld system that comes out, if everybody keeps buying on Steam, like you was just talking about, saying, hey guys, buy on Steam, buy a PC, buy a Steam Deck, because overall, if they get their OS system out and it's the mandatory OS for all these handhelds, then Microsoft is going to be the last one on it. They're going to have the PC, with the Windows, but they're not going to have the handheld OS system. And I think Microsoft is really missing it here, Josh, about not having something. They're talking about doing an Xbox handheld come the next generation, right? I know you heard that. Everybody's heard that. But are they going to have a good OS system, first off? And why is it taking them so long to get into the handheld market? It's been since 2017 or before.
Yeah. Why wouldn't they just use the OS that they use on Xbox and just directly transfer that over to a handheld system? That'd be perfect. I mean,
I got something even crazier just to get your opinion on. Do you remember Windows 8? Windows 8.
Yeah.
The block Windows 8. They even had the Windows Phone.
Yeah.
You remember that?
Yep.
Why did they not accompany something like that into a handheld system? It's like they I guess they
skipped over that completely. I guess because like Microsoft is a probably trillion dollar company, and I don't know if it's not going to make a ton of money if they're going to put certain like resources into developing that, which they really should, because the gaming side of things is just every year it gets in. Like, you look at the games industry as a whole, it's like billions and billions of dollars. Like, it's bigger than a lot of other industries, and it's only going to get bigger. Yeah, and growing. So I think this would be an excellent time to get into the handheld market, especially. And that's one thing that I was going to mention too about the Steam OS, is that I don't think that they should branch that out everywhere. Like, I know you can download the Steam OS for free, like into different things, but
with limits, yes,
yeah, like I like it staying into the Steam ecosystem on the Steam Deck itself, because to me it feels so special. The Steam Deck feels like such a polished, special device that I'm honestly like, it makes me feel a lot like it did back when I was a big PlayStation fan. Like, I only bought PlayStation, and that was my main source of how I consumed video game media, was through the PlayStation. And eventually I branched out to Xbox because of Titanfall. And then eventually I branched out to PC because a buddy of mine at work named Kevin wanted me to play these games with him. So I ended up borrowing one from him, and then I ended up eventually building a PC. And once I got in that ecosystem, it was like, oh, man. And then the Steam Deck comes along, where I can bring all these cool experiences that I've been having on PC on the go and play them easily. And it's got its own operating system that's really cool. And it really brings back those vibes of that nostalgia that I had with certain consoles. So I think it's something special. Like, this to me would be like if you had Xbox giving away their OS to, PlayStation or different things. It's like, I don't want that. I want it to stay with Steam Deck and the Steam like ecosystem.
But let me throw something back at you though. Microsoft is developing a handheld with an OS. All right, they're gonna have to have their own OS. They're not going to go to Steam and use Steam's. They're not going to use PlayStation's like the Vita OS system or anything like, or Nintendo Switch. They're developing their own that they believe is the best, where if you load up, you see games first, right? You're not looking at a window bar on the bottom and it looks like Windows 11. That's the problem they have right now with the ROG Ally, right? So I feel like Xbox is going to take that move, and they're going to try. And what if they like Xbox's OS system better, handheld better, right? And they have a bigger space for players and stuff, right? That Steam in. So they could start offering. They want to have that instead of Steam OS. And guess what's going to happen? They're going to want to implement because Valve is very big on accepting anybody into the ecosystem, right? PlayStation has games on Steam, Xbox has games on Steam. So what's to say that the OS system doesn't go over to that, and then they take over, and then Steam OS is no more after 3 or 4 years?
Yeah, that would suck, man. Like, and I know that Steam OS is limited because there's not all games that can play with it, and there's even like certain games like Call of Duty, like the newer ones, you can't play online on the Steam Deck on those because the BattleEye system doesn't work with Steam OS, and that's which really stinks because I'd love to be able to bring
Yes,
Call of
that's a good
Duty on the
example. I
go.
like how you brought that up. Yeah.
Yeah, so things like that would be kind of sussed out because it plays perfect on Windows, and there has been people to go as far as to download a partition of the hard drive on Steam
Yeah.
Deck to put Windows on the Steam Deck, and it works really, really well. So,
Just takes up a lot of
like,
space.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I can see pros and cons of it for sure, but I love the Steam OS. I really like it.
Hey,
It's easy to
I'm with you.
navigate.
I'm with you on that. I'm not arguing. I love the Steam
Mhm.
OS. The compatibility is where I'm getting stuck at.
Yeah, yeah,
If the compatibility could be a little bit better, as far as like you said, the Call of Duty was the perfect example, right? Or I like playing like Madden or NCAA or something, the EA games. A lot of times you can't play EA games on the Steam Deck, the newer ones now, because you have to have the anti cheat on there. So
right.
you're having newer games and more games that you can't play on the Steam Deck unless you have to do all these workarounds. So I feel like if Steam can get that down, there's no stopping them, right?
Yeah.
But if you go and you're talking about them going to Xbox, I don't think Xbox allows it, obviously, right? But
Right.
what if they start making Rog Ally, the Legion Go, right? That's another
Yeah.
handheld, the Legion
Uh-huh.
Go. And
And I'm a
then,
Legion fan for
yes, you
sure.
are. Don't you have a
Because my
laptop?
my Lenovo Legion
Yeah.
laptop, it's the
And that's a
Lenovo Legion
beast. That thing's still kicking.
7i. Yeah, dude, it's great, and it plays a bunch of games. Like I'm playing in
Yeah.
1440p. It's
Yeah.
crazy. So,
You load up everything I'm able to play on this big PC on that thing all the time. So
mhm.
you got somebody like them going into the handheld market with their first generation. Okay, so think about that
Yep.
second or third generation. Now all of them are running Steam OS. That's a powerhouse.
Yeah.
Microsoft
See
has
that.
got to get off their butt and they have
Mhm.
to develop an OS system.
They
If
do.
not, Steam's going to take it over.
Yeah. Yep.
Or Valve.
It's
I say
true.
Steam, Valve. The Steam OS
True.
will.
See the thing about the Steam OS too that I like is the amount of tinkering and the amount like it feels more wild to me with the stuff that you can do on it and more like open source as far as look at on the Steam OS, look at what's the one where you play all the retro games? What is that? What is that called?
Launchbox.
Launch? No, it's the main one that came out on deck. It's
Oh, I
the
forgot.
deck. Yeah, I forgot the name of it too. It's where you can download all
I
the
play it still all the
emulators
time. Yeah.
straight onto the deck. Like it's its whole
It's
own
actually so
system.
easy too. It's not
It's
hard at all.
super easy. Yeah, yeah. And they have all that stuff because everything's so open source. It's based off of Linux, which is like basically a free ecosystem anyway, where like everybody kind of
Yeah.
collaborates and joins together to make this thing really cool.
Hey, Linux actually overtook Mac. I don't know if you
Oh,
knew
did it
that.
really?
It
No.
overtook
What now?
Mac's operating system. Yeah, Linux actually, since the Steam Deck, it's gave it so much popularity. It's
Yeah.
a very short margin. But I remember there was a news article come out that it actually overtook the Mac
Wow.
OS.
That's really cool.
Yeah. So
Dude, I would totally run Linux as my main operating system because Microsoft comes with so much bloatware and so much crap that you don't want. Like, I'm the administrator. So there's a guy that I follow on YouTube. His name is Thor. He used to work for Blizzard. Really smart dude. Like he plays
yeah.
games and he's a game developer and stuff. He's really cool. But he talked about Microsoft, how it has these different things that are constantly trying to trying to interfere with how you work on your computer because you're the administrator of
Like
your
tracking?
system. No, like it's constantly wanting to do the cloud stuff and
Yeah.
the OneDrive and all of this
Yeah.
other things, and like every time he disables it, it's constantly trying to activate all these things again to get you to use these extra systems that are on the
Yeah.
OS that you just don't want. Like I turn all that junk off. I don't want it on. I don't want it to take up any kind of resources.
But see,
And
it's
it's
helpful on
like,
my end though. It's helpful on
sure,
my end.
sure, yeah, yeah.
Because of work.
If
Only
you
because of
want
work.
it, yeah, yeah. But it's
Yes.
like if you
If you
want it,
don't want it, you shouldn't need it. You shouldn't have
yeah,
to.
and it
Yeah.
shouldn't take up any kind of resources. Like you should be able to turn all these things off and like just eliminate them off of your computer altogether.
Yeah.
But it's constantly like it constantly tries to interfere with your administrative abilities on your computer. It's really evasive in that way. And I want to be in control of everything on the OS, especially if I paid for it. It's like I want to control how this thing interacts with my computer in every single way. And that's one good thing about Linux is like I feel like you're more in control of that stuff. It's just there's a steeper learning curve when it comes to using that operating system on your specific device. So
Yeah.
just kind of a few of my thoughts on it.
No, I agree. I like the fact of what you're talking about in reference to Linux because I like Linux. It's free. You don't have that stuff popping up. You have to actually be online and set up an online account with um with Windows now, which has been a huge deal. Everybody's been hating on that.
Yeah.
I think Windows is going to take a step back, or they might actually take a step forward with AI, kind of like Apple has done.
Yeah.
But we'll see. But just to kind of wrap this up in reference to what we're talking about with the Steam OS going on the Rog Ally. So the first hint of the move came when support for the extra Rogue Ally keys popped up out of nowhere in the latest Steam OS release notes. So that's how people figured out, like, hey, what's going on? Why are they doing why are they doing extra Rogue Ally keys for the Rogue Ally for the Steam Deck? So Steam is saying that the team is continuing to work on adding support for additional handhelds on Steam OS. On the other side of the portable OS equation, Yang also said Valve is continuing to work on the drivers necessary for official Duel Boot support for Windows on the Steam Deck hardware. There's no update on the timing for the Duel Boot support. It's still a priority, but we haven't been able to get to it just yet. And this is Kyle Orland with Ars Technica that did this article and kind of that stated that. So it's going to be a Duel Boot. But at some point, it's going to take over, like we were saying. So,
yeah, yep,
guys, if you agree that they should take that leap and start trying to get SteamOS on a lot more devices, let us know in the comments. If you don't think so, and you take Josh's approach and think that it should be exclusive OS system for the Steam Deck and for Steam in itself on PCs, also leave us a comment. Let us know which side you stand on. And until then, you want to wrap this thing up?
Didn't you have one more story about a guy that was able to connect like a bunch of systems to his TV?
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, dude, I want that. I want to talk about that because you showed me that and I was like, bruh, that's pretty sweet. I want to go to this dude's house and hang out. Yes, so basically the story was a guy
here we go.
held the Guinness record for the amount of systems connected to his
Look
TV.
at all those systems, dude. He got all the way up from it's just, let me see if I can tell you all what he got to.
400 plus consoles on one TV.
444 game consoles.
I didn't even know there was 444 consoles.
So he hooked up 30 RCA switches, more than 12 HDMI switches, and the connections the youngins out there wouldn't even haven't heard from is what he stated, quote.
VGA or whatever. The
component.
Red, white, and yellow.
Or something better. Antenna, like probably the antenna. You know how they had that coming off of the regular Nintendo with the little square box? Do you remember that one?
Really? That's what the Nintendo used was the antenna connection?
Original. Yes,
before I did not know that. No
It was
way.
an antenna. Yeah.
No
So
way.
he
Dude,
had.
this makes me want to get an old system and just like have all
Oh, I
that
know.
stuff connected.
I know. He has
What is that?
everything.
Is that a pile of controllers? What is that?
Yes. He had everything from a Magnavox Odyssey, the first ever gaming console that was released in 1972,
Had
up
no
to the
idea about that.
PlayStation 5 Slim, released in late 2023. His
Wow.
collections includes Xbox 360, the Nintendo Switch, the Wii U, the Genesis, super rare consoles like the Super A-Can, which I've never even heard of, if I'm being honest.
No, me either.
So he thinks his favorite console is the Sega Genesis, but you can see pictures of it. I mean, that's pretty cool, isn't it? Look at that.
Yeah, dude.
Is that the Sony
Probably-
PlayStation? No. Okay.
Probably my
Is that the
favorite
Nintendo
retro
PlayStation?
console. So I have a funny story
Nintendo
about that.
Satellite View.
I have a funny story, dude, about the PlayStation 1.
What?
So I had a PlayStation 1 back in the day. I believe it was a PlayStation 1. And I was just a kid and I was wanting to play Dragon Ball Z games. And a lot of the Dragon Ball Z games you could only get from Japan. So you had to basically mod your PlayStation 1 with some sort of microchip that had to be actually soldered onto the board to be able to play these games. So we ended up contacting a guy at like Radio Shack, or it might have been another
No. For
yeah,
real?
it might have been another electronics store that we dropped it off to him, and when we got it back, it didn't work anymore. Like he messed it up, but he basically told us like, yeah, like I did it, and yeah, like here you go.
And those were expensive back then too.
Yeah, it was like $100 or whatever. So I was like, oh, so it doesn't work. And my mom felt so bad that she bought me the newer system, which was like the smaller
Yeah.
PlayStation 1. Like, do you remember
The
those? It
Slim,
was like
the little white ones. The white
yeah,
ones.
yeah,
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
white. And I ended up getting that and Final Fantasy 8, I think.
Oh, that was worth
And
it.
I
That's
remember,
awesome.
yeah, totally. Like I was like, okay, so I didn't get to play this Dragon Ball Z game, but I got a brand new system that's even smaller and cooler
know-
because the original PS1 was like this big, thick gray
It was.
thing.
And I was about to
And-
tell you this. So I just want to throw this out here just real quick.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if you're at the end of your story, so just hold your thought. But did you
Yeah.
know the fat PS1 that you're talking about, the same one you're talking about, because you
Mhm.
can do so many mods on those things. You know,
Yeah.
there's a slot on the back where something can stick into it.
I remember something
And
about that.
I remember wanting to play that DBZ. I know what you're talking about, the game that you're talking about.
Yeah.
I wanted to play the same game. And because you couldn't play, it was region
Mhm.
locked. So
Yep.
you couldn't play the Japanese games and all. And I remember that you can put something in the back there and mod it and be able to do it that way. And
so there was another way too. The way that I eventually did it is you bought this disc and you put that disc in there first, and then you opened it up and you put in the DBZ game, and then you were able to play it.
That's
I think
simple?
that's how eventually I was able to get around it. Yeah. So
I would
instead
say
of
I
having
bet
to
you
like
wanted
mod
the disc,
the board,
but you got to do PlayStation out of it. So
yeah, yeah, but like I don't think I figured these things out till later. And this is early internet too, where you're trying to research all of this. And I remember I bought a Dragon Ball comic online, and I had a Dragon Ball Z game, and like I didn't even know that there were any Dragon Ball Z games out. But you go and look online, there's so many games that were out online.
there's a ton, dude. There's
Super
a ton.
Nintendo too had a ton of them that we never even knew about.
We never played.
PlayStation 1, 2, yeah, because we just didn't have access to all that stuff. But it was that's just a story that popped in my head when we started talking about these older consoles, you know.
So the thing I think of the most when you mention we didn't have internet in the PS2, you finally can hook up an Ethernet line. Wasn't Wi-Fi,
Yeah.
Ethernet line to it, right?
Yeah.
And me and Josh, our first game that we would play together.
Asciate!
Asciate!
I knew it was coming.
So I'll never forget it because it was the first. You know how they have anti-cheat and all this stuff now. It's such a big deal. But back then, man, it's like they didn't fix it. They didn't patch anything. What you got with the game is what you had online and everything. And if you didn't figure it out and you didn't know how to cheat, you're just going to get smoked in the spawn the whole time. So we was playing SOCOM 2. It's SOCOM 2. And we just got the internet. We're like, oh, this is awesome, man. And we're running around, and every time you shoot somebody, it will scream out, Askiyate! Askiyate!
Yeah.
So me and Josh thought
that was the when he would throw a grenade too, it'd be like, Granada, Granada.
So we was loving it. But the thing I remember the most about that, and I did this the other day, it's been a few years. I say other day, been a few years, but it still worked, by the way, on the ROM. But you can go to this wall on this one map, lay down, and you can make your analog stick slide over just slowly, like you're just crawling. You're just crawling. Now I'm showing everybody on YouTube how you do it. It's
yeah.
But you crawl so slow, it crawls through the wall, okay? And you had voice comms too now, so you can hear everybody. So you get out the map, you hug the corner, you get all the way up on like this mountain on this hill. I don't know if you remember any of this, Josh. And you can snipe. You get the sniper in the whole match. Like if they don't see you, you're just overlooking the whole map, and you're like, bing, bing, bing.
That's
and
cool.
Like finally, somebody will kick you. Yeah. Finally, they will kill you or kick you out. But they would be like just trash talking you in the thing, and I'm like, I don't care. You know, I guess I was like that 13-year-old boy, like I don't care.
And you probably learned about that off of like a magazine or off of dial-up internet or something.
No, I saw somebody told me, a gamer told me, and they showed me how to do it. That's the only way you learn stuff.
Dude. Like back in the day too. Do you remember you could get on top of the building? It was on Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2.
Yes,
there's those two buildings
with the crane.
Yeah, with the crane, and you can hop on this thing and get up to the roof and shoot down at everybody. And there was also on Modern Warfare 3, if you dropped an airdrop by this wall, it was on this certain level, you could hop over the wall and you could go explore outside of the map. And there was all these things out there. There was like a gladiator arena and different things that you would never have access to go look at unless you did this thing to where you hopped out of the map. And stuff like that was so cool.
I thought it was. That's what I was about to say. It made it so cool. It's so cool that we're thinking about that 20 years later. Yeah. I mean, come on, man.
Yeah.
And you might see that sort of thing happen on the newer games. I'm not saying you won't, but it's only going to be there for like a week, and they're going to patch it.
And then they're going to patch it. That's what kind of sucks too, doesn't it? Because that's what was crazy is that you go download these different ROMs and stuff, and they'll have these different versions of the game that they started to release the actual hard disk with an updated version. So you could potentially get different versions of the same game depending on when you bought the game. Yeah. Is how they used to do it back in the day. So
man, I'm telling you, I remember on the ROM that you can still log in online. The servers are still active on SOCOM 2. On SOCOM 2. Yeah. I'm telling you, it's pretty horrible. The controls, I'll tell you that.
The controls are bad.
Pretty terrible. But dude, it was so fun going in the map and going to that spot. It's a little archway with two doors, and you can't get out the door because it's PlayStation 2 graphics. And you could just slide through, man. So guys, sweet. those sort of things is nobody would ever get to experience those sort of things that we experienced because the internet was just getting started. You would never again have something like that again. And man, that was just fun times, dude.
It was great. It was great.
So, well, with that being said, let's get this thing on the road. What do you say?
Let's go.
Guys, thank you for joining in for another episode of GG Rated Podcast. We thank you for all the support that y'all have done. We were over 150 subscribers, I believe. So thank you all for all the support. Continue to tell your friends. Make sure you share. Make sure you post. Make sure you comment. Do all those great things. Y'all are all awesome, and I appreciate every one of you. Josh?
Yes, thank you for listening to the GG Rated Podcast. Send us a line. Drop us a line on Facebook Messenger, on YouTube, and on our Gmail account at GGratedChannel@gmail.com. Thanks for listening, everybody.